Okay, so we have two close quarter battles going on, and we do those first. So, if we look at this one, that's going to decide everything, isn't it? So, if we look at that, we've got two full units there. It's going to be exactly the same again, guys. Full scourge unit with 15 hit points remaining. Gets 1 dice, because their close quarter battle value is 1 per hit point. So the scourge pool 15 dice. UCM, again, have 15 hit points remaining. There's 5. And they pull 15 dice. Now, both sides now flips their totals over. So, yeah. And we look at their armour values. Both have armour values of 2, as we have looked before. Armour on infantry is negligible at best. Close quarter battle damage table. Armour value of 2. Needs a 4+ to cause points of damage. So, if we look at on the scourge, first of all, the UCM attack them. And we're looking for 4s. So we take away all 1s, 2s and 3s. And then we put them up. So the scourge are suffering 8 hits. And on the UCM in retaliation, those away. Eight as well. So brutal, bloody, horrific. Both parties suffer 8 damage, which is 5, and then 3 off each one, which forces them both to take a morale check. Obviously they've just seen loads of the mates get blown up, grenades chucked in, ripped to pieces, so on and so forth. So we look at the fear values, and if we have a quick look, scourge troops aren't as well trained. The scourge have a fear of dying, so to speak, so they are fear 4+. Whereas we look at the UCM, they're well trained, or better trained, so to speak, since the scourge is just a leech that sticks inside your head. We look at Colonial Legionnaires. If we look at it, their fear is 5+. It's the Praetorians that are 3+, so they're better. So, I mean, the Legionnaires are actually in a bit of a position here, aren't they? So, if you have a look at it, Legionnaires, no. Scourge, no. So both sides, in fact, have had enough and they're going to flee back. So they basically exit the building, leave their objectives there, so to speak. So, moving on to this close quarter. Now, this game's been raging for a while, so the dice totals here are going to be different. So the scourge have two full bases, generating a point per base, so for 10 dice. And then unfortunately the UCM there have been taking a bit of a battering, so they've only got 7 men left, 7 damage points left, so 1 full base and 2. So this is where it's flipping them over. Scourge have got more of a chance of doing some damage on the UCM. Looking for 4. Oh wow. Right, okay, so that's 5, 6, 7, 8, 9 damage. So they've actually just eradicated them, which hasn't gone well. However, it happens at the same time. So we're back on the scourge. It's 4 points of damage. So no fear test there, lads, because you're actually just been slaughtered. So they're gone. 4 points of damage, leaves a base of scourge on 1. Scourge are the victor. They aren't below their original starting value, so they don't have to test for fear. That is a very simple close quarter combat and a more advanced close quarter combat. Okay, as you fight over your drop zones, you're going to encounter troops that do different things. The command cards can make it more difficult for your troops to stay in a battle. They can make it more difficult to fight in room to room, so on and so forth. So now we go initiative and continue the turn. Okay, so we have Scourge Initiative 4, UCM 5. Okay, now these poor chaps, unfortunately, they're running, so they've legged it. If we look at the rules themselves, just so everybody's clear, when we look at a cross-quarter battle, okay, morale. Highly distressing for the combatants as death witnessed up close and personal. Once damage has been allocated, which we've done, they take a morale check, which both failed. Infantry have a fortitude, blah 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 blah. If the test is failed, the remainder of the squad must immediately vacate the building, either by transferring to an agency structure, embarking directly into transports, or whatever. So they both jump into their transports. So, UCM, jump into their transport. So we just move them out of the way. So obviously you just need to keep track of everything that's going on, just like any other war game really. Scares jump into their transport as well. So they're now in their transports. So, if this results in all the squads vacating the fight sequence vacating the building, then the squad with the highest number of remaining damage stays. So one does stay, roll off in the event of a tie. So this could be all game winning, couldn't it? So, if we look at UCM, Scourge, so the Scourge are actually staying in the building, which is bad for the UCM. It was a brutal combat, but there you go. So the Scourge are there with two objectives. Okay, so we now go on to the initiative phase, which we have already determined UCM are going first. I do believe probably UCM's best chance now is to try and take out the invader APCs, so at least the infantry on foot. But again, it's going to be difficult. So, if we look at what's cracking on down here, oh dear. So, oh dear, is the correct way of looking at it. So if we look at the UCM dropships, we have outfitted them with Energy 8 missile pods, which is one shot hit and a 3+. So if we activate this unit first, we're going to fly this chap half move like that. Our APC is going to shovel around. Oh, and the guys are going to get out again and get back in the building, which is they ain't going to lie down and die, so to speak. That APC is a bit lost, so it's going to what's it going to do? It's going to stay there. Actually, it's going to come over here, because if we do manage to pop the Scourge's transport, they're on foot, which is a bit nasty. Okay, so we've got missile pods, the only things that can really hurt this invader. It's Energy 8, and invader is, look at it. Obviously when you're playing the game, it's armour 8 with active countermeasures, and 2 damage points, so it's slightly more difficult to cause a bit of damage too. So 8, Energy 8 versus armour 8 is a 5+. So I can cause 8 points of damage to it this turn from this dropship, if I do score that 5+. Okay, so, fingers crossed. Yes. So it's caused a point of damage. I haven't exceeded a 5 by 2. It is impossible on D6, so I only caused 1 point of damage. So we just note it down. Like that. Now moving on. The infantry are engaged in close quarter battle. I don't believe their APCs actually have a weapon capable of damaging an invader. We'll have a quick look. Let's have a quick look. It's Energy 3. Unfortunately, cannot hurt armour 8. So that's all she wrote for them, unfortunately. Onto the Scourge. So now then. I think in that central building, we're going to activate the Scourge infantry. They're engaged. These guys are going to come down and get in that APC. So put them to the side, in that APC, with an objective. They can disembark from a building straight into an APC as long as it's within 3 inches. and now the APC really needs to do one. So we'll look at a bare APC, the Invader, should I say. Obviously when there's two people playing, you're going to know your round stats, so on and so forth, so it is a bit easier. Movement 6. Now guys have got in, so we're going to start bombing it. So those have got in, so it's only a 3-inch move, but we can start escaping, hopefully. So as you've noticed, the dropship's been destroyed for the APCs, so no one else can just nip in and pick them up. It doesn't work that way, unfortunately, unless you're the filthy Shaltari with their gates. Well, that's another story. So moving on, that's the infantry obviously is engaged in close quarter battle over there. Now if we have a look at an intruder, it doesn't actually have a weapon at all, so so they can't shoot at anything. It goes to the UCM again. We have a couple of options now. He's going to take off and he's going to fly slightly like that as we engage these. He's going to fire a missile at one of these tanks. Now we know already that the missile is energy 8 and they're armour 8. So if we look at, it'll be a 5+ to wound. Oh, wrong way. When we look at the stats, energy 8 one shot hitting on a 3. Now then, they didn't move last turn. I don't think they did. So 3+ to hit. Missed anyway. Never mind. Avenger railgun hitting on a 3+, I believe. We'll double check that as well. We'll fire at 1 as well. So we hits on a 2+ with an Avenger railgun. It's energy 10, so this is hopefully going to hurt a Scourge. Yeah, hits 1. So we'll just say it's the closest one. I mean, in that instance, I could have said I'll shoot like that. So it's energy 10, armour 8. Energy 10, armour 8 is a 3+ to cause damage. And lo and behold, I score a 2. So nothing again, unfortunately. That vehicle, however, can fall back slightly. I think it needs to. And it's over to the Scourge. So we have 3 anti-aircraft tanks and a anti-aircraft dropship. Now if we think about what we're going to do, dropship's going to float over. Oh no, actually this was for the tanks, wasn't it? So he's going to just stay as he is because he's a separate entity. 3 of them are going to fire at the dropship. Look at the dropship's armour 5 with 3 damage points with active countermeasures. So we have 3 of the anti-aircraft grav tanks, which are horrific. I mean, obviously if you're playing the game other than demonstrating, it's energy 8, 2 shots hitting on 2s against flyers. It has two values. This weapon uses 2+ AC rating when firing at aircrafts in the air and 6+ when against all targets. So it's actually better against the air than it is against the ground. So we have 2 shots each and 3 tanks. So 6 dice. I'm going to shoot them all at the dropship, try and take it down. And it's energy 8. I'm not moving. I'm going to try and hit on 2s. So 3 hits. Energy 8. Armour 5. When we look on the thing, is however 2s. Dropships are only dropships at the end of the day. Yeah, it is absolutely blown to pieces. So that's actually 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 damage because I exceeded 2 of the rolls by 2, and that absolutely totals the dropship, just removes it from the game. So absolutely obliterated it. So in that instance, it's not looking good for the UCM. To be totally honest with you, it does float back to their go. This dropship's gonna fly over, and he's gonna have a pop at one of the tanks with his missile pod. Don't forget your dropships do have missile pods. Beautiful thing is you might actually be able to kill one of these things because they haven't moved, but it is me rolling, so we never know, eh? Moving over, let's have a look. Missile pod. So we're going to be hitting on a 3+, energy 8 with 1 shot. So 3+, hits, energy 8, armour 8 is 5s. Finally, we're destroying an anti-aircraft tank. So your dropships are still useful if something does, if say all their crew's gone, all their cargo, so to speak, they are still useful because they can, particularly UCM, once you pop off scourge tanks, shot out of vehicles, things like that. That's the turn. I can move the scourge. I have one last battle group to activate, which is this chap, which he's going to sinisterly float around, just in case. And then it's back to clean up stage again, which is where we do the next close quarter battle. So we roll for initiative first of all. So UCM 5, Scourge 6. The Scourge are going first this time. In that battle over there, as before, guys, we've got 2 bases. Both sides have got a full base. Okay. And a base with 2 left. So it's as easy as you just total up your dice. You really total up your dice, then switch them over. So on the Scourge I need 4s, so it's 3 damage points. And on the UCM I need 4s, only 2 damage points. So UCM lose that final base, but Scourge lose a base and are now down to 4. So the Scourge in that instance have lost. They've lost that battle, and they're also below their starting point. So now they have to take a fear test, which is a 4+. If they fail it, they will leave the UCM in the building with the objectives. And they failed it on a 2. So the Scourge instantly run down there and get in their APC. So that base is in that APC. Just put at the side of the base like that, so we still know it's in there. Now, because the Scourge are going first, they have a few issues as to what they're going to be able to do. Now then, if we, I think we need to take down that dropship because it's going to take out all of the issues. So we'll activate the anti-air first. They're going to shovel their 4 inches like that, and we'll check to see that we are in range, because we wouldn't want to cheat our opponent, anything like that. When we look at, again, Scourge weaponry, the anti-air, as the dropship is in the air, they hit on 2s, 2 shots apiece, 9 inch. So, again, as you noticed, it's all about positioning your troops, rapidly evacuating drop things, and protecting your dropships. That's what I've learned. If we measure 9 inch, they are in just. Okay, so we need, it's 2 shots apiece. We're hitting on 2s. Oh, so only 2 hits, but I can still actually cause some serious damage because they are energy 8. Energy 8 against only armor 5, unfortunately. So I mean, the UCM are in bother. 2 points of damage. If we look at a UCM dropship, and they have 3 damage points, so it's got 1 left. So that didn't work out entirely well for the Scourge. What to do, eh? So what we're going to do, we are going to activate our APCs and the infantry for the UCM. Now they're occupying. They are assumed to know where the objectives are because they've just been fighting in close quarters and they were already in the Scourge's hands. So they find the objectives and they're going to jump into their APC with them. so this APC's got 2 and they're going to jump in. So again, we'll put them over there in this APC. Dropship's going to fly to there and land. In fact, it's going to fire first. It's going to shoot at the Scourge. It's going to shoot its missile pod, 1 shot 3+ at the Scourge skimmer. Missed. So, never mind. He's going to fly there and land for 2. And he's going to pick up that APC. So, am I in the right place? No, it's the back one. Never mind, eh? There we go. So he's going to pick that APC up and he's going to pick up again. Now, it's risky, incredibly risky. So you can move a bit, do a bit, move a bit, so to speak. So if we say that he's moved 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, he may actually get a couple more inches of movement. He can move 2 inches. So, I mean, it's not fantastic, but it's still 2 inches of movement. He's going to go like that. This chap's going to drive there, try and offer some form of cover, which isn't going to work because that counts as 6 inches up, but there you go. But he is flying off with the objective, so the Scourge needs to do something about that and Sharpie. However, their anti-infantry has gone. The anti-aircraft has already had its go. So it's now Scourge's activation. They have their infantry, their APCs, so they're going to try and escape off the board with their infantry. Now, Scourge invaders, they have a standard movement of 6, but they do have a little special rule. If we look in the book, they have movement 6, but speed boost. The invader may move an additional 3 inches when it is capable to move at its normal maximum speed. So I'm going to move it 9 inches. Straight down the side there, centre to centre point. We'll escape with that objective. The invader obviously over here. What's he going to do? Oh dear. I imagine he's actually just going to turn around and position himself to follow them, just in case the dropship is shot down. They can try and do something about it. So, moving over to the UCM. It's their go, and I know that the Scourge only have a dropship ready to go. So, my dropship here is going to float along. I'm going to shoot one of the tanks. They did move, so unfortunately I'm on a 5+ to hit. I do miss, which is understandable in that case. Moving over to the Scourge again, so that activation's done. They have a dropship. Now they do have a plasma hose on the dropships, which aren't fantastic, but they are energy 9 one shot with a 6 inch, and I can move them by 12. I don't have any anti-aircraft, but that does mean I can maybe pop that APC that's down there. So I can move 12 inches. Eager look. Eager to land. Yeah, I love the idea that the miniatures come together the proper, you know. So right, I'm going to have a shot at that APC with an energy hose. It's one shot hitting on 3+, which I hit. I'm going to kick these dice. Energy 9. So we look at the Bear APC's armour, which is higher than, so it's armour 8. So energy 9, armour 8, we're looking at 4s. So a 4 will cause a point of damage, a 6 will cause 2 points of damage. So nothing actually bounces off this time. It's about time, isn't it? The UCM have been taking the right drubbing up close, but that's what the Scourge will do to you. So UCM's go. I've got one tank left in that. He's going to nip around the corner and have a pop at the back of one of those. So he normally hits on a 2+. Unfortunately the Scourge moves, so he is hitting on a 4+. And that's a hit. Now this is where he should in theory hurt the Scourge. Energy 10, armour 8 is a 3+. Oh no! I've been loading blanks, I think. So unfortunately he bounced off again. The Scourge have had their turn, the UCM have had their turn. It's now consolidation phase and the end of that go. There's no close quarter battle, so it is now down to the initiative, and it's a big initiative step. So, Scourge, 3. Oh dear. So now, this is where your decisions would come into play. As a player, and it says Scourge player, I know I must stop this, because otherwise he's full 18 and he's gone in 2 turns. So, I must anti-aircraft that. There's no other way of looking at it. I'm going to have to move, so I can move my 4 inches over to there, and then measure my 9, so I'm in range, and I must shoot this down. It's 2 shots each, hitting on 2s first of all, because they're accuracy. So 1, 2 miss, so 2 hit. Ooh. Well, unfortunately it is energy 8 as we know, against armour 5, which is 2s. A 1, what's that dice there, what's that dice? Cock dice. Well, would you believe it? Oh, cock dice has saved them, it's bounced off again. See, that's very, very unusual. I mean, 2s followed by 2s, you should realistically be taking that down. But it hasn't worked, that's how battles go, isn't it? It's now the UCM's go. I know that there's nothing else that can shoot that because there's no anti-air anywhere else. So I'm actually going to activate my tank. In the background, he's going to pootle along here. He's been following these tanks around all game. He's going to try and shoot one. Just so you know, they're normally accuracy hitting on 2s, but skimmers, you add +2 to that if they move. He's not bothered this time. Hits. He's energy 10, armour 8. Is 3+. Finally, he's popped another one. Just remove another tank from play. Blows it up. Goes to the Scourge, go again. They may as well activate their infantry. And they get 1. Oh, he's just on the edge. So he's almost gone with that objective. And this one here, I mean, this invader, he's not really got much to do, has he? He's going to follow around, just keeping moving to make him more difficult to hit, just in case that does have an issue. So, over to the UCM's go. I'm going to activate this dropship. He's going to circle around like that, and he's going to shoot that tank. Normally a 3, needing a 5 because it is a skimmer that's moved. Oh, hits this time. So, this is where the UCM is going to clear up, isn't it? So, down but never out. Energy 8, armour 8. When it's the same, it's a 5+. Unfortunately not. We'll go to the Scourge's final go. They have a drop ship remaining. So we're going to shift that drop ship like that. And it's going to shoot the bear APC. It may as well. It's one shot at energy 9, I do believe. But if we look just to double check in the book, energy 9, one shot hitting on a 3+. So you can see the game itself missed. Actually does play relatively quickly once you're basically okay with the rules and the Pt4, so to speak. It's now the UCM's turn. So the first thing any good UCM general is going to do here is probably do a runner. It'll probably be the first thing you'd do in that activation, but just for the sake of it, I wanted to show you how the game plays. It's move 18. We measure the height of that building. It's well below 6, so that ship can move a full 18. Stem to stem, he's going to put it in the middle of there. So he's flying over there. Ooh. Alright, take both objectives with you. With his one lowly hit point left. So, positioning himself so hopefully that cannot see him. This chap is just going to start evacuating, so to speak. And that goes again down to the initiative. Most games last for 6 turns. If you look at scenarios in the book, they have different victory conditions. So final turn said 3 for the UCM, 4 for the Scourge. So the Scourge do go first. The Scourge General is going to activate his infantry first. He's going to move that invader off the board, so he secures one secured objective. And he's going to what is he going to do? This invader's just going to poodle around, I suppose. UCM, we'll look at that there, 18 inches. He's going to activate his infantry straight away. Apologies for the camera angle. And he's going to fly clean off the board. So the dropship there has really saved the day. He flies that off the board, taking his 2 objectives with him. That ends the game. As you can see, it's been absolutely horrific. It's crazy, it's carnage, it's tank on tank, infantry on infantry. I hope I've covered some of the basic points. I will do a series of videos, maybe specialising in close quarter battles, maybe specialising in some of the more advanced tactics, things like that. But that's a general battle. It's less than an hour it's taken to play. Or around about an hour because I've been explaining, but obviously with 2 opponents that have a rule book and a battle force each, so to speak, you can play. Obviously the table is fully customised, but all of this has been printed from Hawk's site. They have free buildings. You can even buy the resin buildings, which is phenomenal. As always, questions, please ask, comment, rate, subscribe. This is Tom from Dreamlight Gaming. Get your Dropzone Commander from www.dreamlightgaming.com. I'll put the link in all the videos, and any questions, please ask. As always, keep it dreamlike and defend your drop zones.